So here we go. Like I stated, super excited to be sharing this information with you. This information is brand new information that just came out, and Airdna just put it out. If you're not familiar with Airdna, Airdna is a data company that provides market data for operators like myself. It's a very reliable source. It's a source that is, if you are in this industry, it's a company and a data source that you should pay very close attention to, because they provide a lot of very good information. But like I mentioned, or if I haven't mentioned, I did a video that spoke about what I believe the future projections for short-term rentals is going to be within the next 6 to 12 months. If you didn't see that video, I highly recommend you see it. But this information confirms what I mentioned in that video. And I'm going to go over some of the good and the bad. And the good is the following: that in August of 2022, the demand for short-term rental is still strong and has increased tremendously, right? So according to Airdna, in August, both Airbnb and VRBO saw record bookings. It was a total of 20.7 million stays, which is a 19.8% year-over-year increase. Those numbers are big, people. But now the real question is, that's great for Airbnb, but is it great for you? And what I want you to take out of this is the following: that every operator is going to be different. Whether or not you're going to succeed in this industry is going to be very dependent on you. And I'm going to give you some numbers that you should be concerned about. And these numbers are why I believe that companies like my company have excelled and will continue to excel, because we really understand the market and we really understand marketing. But that's a subject for another video. Today, I just want to give you data. Here's some metrics. August of 2022, there were a total of 1.38 million listings. That's up from year over year, from last year to this year. It's up by 23%. Now, if you saw my video that I did last time, I don't like to use last year's numbers or 2020's numbers. So I'm going to go back to 2019, and the numbers that I just gave you is showing a plus 7%. Now I'm going to recap why I want to use why I use 2019 numbers and not 2020 and 2021. 2020 and 2021 were anomalies. They were not they're not indicators of the true market. And it depends on where you were. So for example, we were in South Florida, very fortunate that our governor kept the economy open, which allowed me to surpass my earnings in 2020, and then once again in 2021 to that of 2019. But there are some of you that if you lived in New York, you lived in Canada, you lived in Australia, your economy was shut down. So plus or minus, those years do not count in my opinion. So I go back to pre-pandemic numbers, which are the numbers in 2019. So let's continue. The total demand for short-term rentals also rose year over year, 19%. Again, using the baseline of 2019, those numbers are up by 16.4%. Here's the bad part. Occupancy rates have declined. There's a plus in occupancy rate from 2019, but between 2021 and 2022, there was a decline of 4.3%. There's a plus 7 from 2019. Now that some of you may say that's a good thing. I'm going to tell you why it really isn't a good thing. But let's go on the other markers that I think are very important. The other marker or metric that I use is the average daily rate. The average daily rate, year over year increase of 2.8% to $288. And the total revenues was up again year over year by 23%. Nights booked or future travel booked also up 16% to year over year to 17.7 million. Great numbers, right? Great numbers. Great numbers, but really, again, great numbers for who? We know for sure that Airbnb and VRBO have seen great numbers, great revenue increases, and it's been phenomenal for them. But here is where I believe short-term rental operator is struggling and are going to continue to struggle in the near future. Because even though we know demand is up, their supply is also up. So I'm going to give you the numbers for supply. There was an increase year over year of 23% as it relates to supply. Now, basic economics, when you have a lot of supply and demand isn't keeping up with the supply, then we have a problem. So for example, we had an increase of 23% in terms of supply, but when we compare that to the demand for travel, it's 17%, right? So there's a deficit there. And because there's a deficit, we have seen a decline in occupancy rates of 4.3%. Now, that's where the problem lies. Too many people are getting into the short-term rental game. So the supply for travelers has increased dramatically, but the demand hasn't, although it has increased, hasn't increased enough to meet the supply chain. In addition to that, even though the average daily rate has increased, inflation has killed that. Inflation is much higher than the increase in the average daily rates. Here's what you need to understand, and here's what's very important. More and more, you're going to need skills in marketing and need to understand how to optimally operate a business. Long gone are the days where you can just put up a property up and make a profit. You're still going to be able to make some money, but nowhere near the profits that we were seeing in prior to 2021. You're not going to see those numbers again unless, again, you have the necessary skills to properly market your property, and the necessary skills on how to optimally maximize your profits in comparison to your expenses. So I highly recommend that you focus on learning how to operate a business and how to optimize and minimize expenses, optimize your operations and minimize expenses so that you can continue to see profitable years year over year. I do firmly believe there's going to be a lot of opportunities for those of you that know how to stand out from a crowd, those of you that can hold on for the next 6 to 12 months, because there's going to be a lot of you that are not going to be in this game 12 months from now if you don't adapt, if you don't understand how to properly operate a short-term rental business. I hope this information was useful. If it was, do me a big favor, hit that like button, subscribe. If you have any questions, either list them below or better yet, I'm on Minute. The link is going to be down there and you can schedule a call with me and I will help you as much as I can. I love you guys and I'll see you in the next one.